Hello, quilting friends. It is Tuesday in my studio, and I am super happy to be here because my sewing room has air conditioning and it is hot and gross outside. I hope you are comfortable wherever you are and that quilting is part of your life. Um, unless you prefer to be gardening, which I don't understand, but I accept. So let me turn on the chat and leave me a comment so I know that it's working. I have so much to say. I have a list, and there's a very good chance I will have a service person at my house in the middle of this call. You know, the 12 to 4 window, which pretty much guarantees they'll be here either never or during our, my Facebook Live. So, hello. I'm still quilting and I'm crazy right now, like crazy. I am getting ready to leave town for a month, over a month. There's a lot of packing involved in that, a lot of planning involved in that. I'm kind of being a nut about it. And I just look at everything I have to do and go, bah! I don't know if anyone ever gets like that. So, knit and crochet, hello, it's good to see you. Um, Sorry, you get to deal with summer here until, September, because that's just as good as it gets. I took a selfie of myself with my grandson, and the AI suggested that this would be a good photo for fashion ideas for women with gray hair. I'm like, thank you for that. So AI is mean. Yeah, a month. Yeah, I have a long road trip, a lot of miles on my car, a lot to get done before I leave. Hi, Joan. How are you? I'm going to be driving by your house on Saturday. So I'll wave as I go by. I think there's a Chick-fil-A not terribly far from you, which I might have to stop at because they have really good Diet Dr. Pepper and excellent ice. Their cookies aren't bad either. I'm met on their chicken, but their French fries are amazing. So let's see, what do I have going on? I I am packing for a month. Now I'm going for a week to my sister's while she's out of town. And I'm happy to tell you that I'm leaving because my husband will be here. So it's not like, hi, please come rob me, and my husband works at home sometime, whatever. So the house is well taken care of. But my sister's going to be on vacation. So I'm going to be there with mom. And then 2 weeks later, my sister's going on vacation again. So instead of coming home in between, 2.5 weeks later, I am going to drive to Wisconsin to Primitive Gatherings to go on a quilt retreat for fun because the drive to Wisconsin from my mom's house is just a little further than from me to my mom. So I could either drive home, wait a week, and drive back, or I could drive to Wisconsin, go to Primitive Gatherings, pick up my girlfriend at the airport, and spend a week with her at Primitive Gatherings, then drive back to my sister's house, and then spend another week caring for mom before I come home. So I'm going to be sewing the whole time I'm gone. I'm not going to be sewing at my sister's house, much to her chagrin. I mean, she gets a free house sitter and a free dog care, but she does get a lot of threads left in her kitchen because that's where I sew. Then I'm going to be at a quilt retreat, and then I'm going to be back at my sister's house. So no machine quilting, but lots of piecing. And so far, I have packed 3 installments of a 6-month quilt along, 4 kits from my Primitive Gathering subscription. I think they all use charm squares, but they're all smallish quilts. The big Christmas quilt from last year from Primitive Gatherings, which is a lot of triangles and it's a big quilt. 2 cutie quilts are cut. 2 more cutie quilts are cut and ready to go. I'm bagging up kits. I took an entire shoebox, big shoebox, like man's boot box size, full of my color block 2.5-inch squares in blue. So I'll be sewing up blue color blocks. I took an entire box of fat quarters from Pat Sloan. Oh, I forget what line it is. Just in case, I'm taking a bolt, like 20 yards of background fabric. I'm taking blocks I've already made for a quilt that I'm going to piece into a quilt. I'm taking a knitting project or 2. And I may have another kit over there that I have like the fat 8s and just have to cut the background and throw it in. So I'm starting to pack the car already. My husband's like, already? I'm like, where do I go? that it matters that I'd have fabric in the back seat of my car. Let's see. My trip sounds fun. Yes, I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to going. I'm also looking forward to coming home because I really like being home. I like being in my sewing room. I like my husband. I'm just kind of. I'm meant to be home and doing home things, but I go and take over my sister's house, and she doesn't care what I do. I may have a few surprises for her. Last time I was there, or yes, the last time I was there, I left little pencil erasers everywhere, like hundreds of them. So she came here and she left me like a dozen little rubber ducks, but I have something better for this trip. You will see that in August. It's packed and ready in my car. So that'll be fun. I just take over my sister's house and sew there and take care of her dog and go visit mom. I have one meal a day with mom. She doesn't need hands-on care or anything, but she's 86 years old, doesn't drive, and we don't believe leaving her alone is the smartest idea ever. So we like to keep one of us, in town. So if my sister travels, I get to go because I'm at a point in life where I have flexibility. My sister's retired and she likes to travel. She's the on-call person every day. So I'll be the on-call person when she's out of town. Let's see. Going to primitive gatherings, planned it a year ago. I feel bad leaving a 23-day-old grandbaby, but the parents are calming down. They're able to feed themselves. They did shower the last time I was over there, and I will be there one more time before I leave. But they're settled and ready for me to leave. But they better send me a picture once a day of that new grandbaby. Going to primitive gatherings will be great, like beyond great, like perfectly great. I don't know if I've made that clear before. It was an amazing experience, and I'm so excited to go again. And then again, back when my sister goes on another trip with another one of her children, which again, don't mind talking about her vacation or mine because I'm at her house, my husband's at my house. I feel confident in letting this be known. And then I'll be back home. So I'll be back in the middle of August. It will be fun. Let's see. Hope you have fun. Yes, there's also a quilt shop near my mom and a knitting shop near my mom. I haven't been to the knitting shop yet. I do teach at the quilt shop. Like I'm going to be teaching there in September. I'm not going to be teaching over the summer. I'll be back because I'll be back again when my sister goes on another vacation. And while I'm in town, if they rent a venue and then I go and do some classes. So yeah. And my in-laws are there. So I get to go check out my in-laws, go out to dinner with them, just it's nice. And we're at a place in life where we have 3 octogenarian parents. Sadly, my father passed 15 years ago or so. 11 years ago. My father passed 11 years ago, but we have 3 octogenarian parents. And it's just, I'm able to go keep an eye on them, so I do. Let's see. Patty, hi from Hot, Ohio. Yeah. Yep. It is hot and it is very, very humid right now. I turned my air conditioner off in my sewing room so I can hear if the truck pulls up because I'm over my driveway. So I'll be able to hear it. I'll be able to open the garage door and let them in because I still don't have air conditioning. I'm having a customer service problem right now with a brand new air conditioner that's been installed in January to the tune of nearly $20,000 with furnace and everything. And it never worked. So I'm all these weeks into summer with no air conditioning and I'm in heart failure. So I'm not really happy about that. So we're going to move on. And tomorrow, if it's not fixed by tomorrow, if they don't show up today, I start a charge back. But anyway, customer service, it makes my heart go pitty pat, which means palpitations. So packing, and I just saw another piece of fabric I can pack to take to my sister's house. We'll see. And so you'll be getting pictures the whole time I'm gone. I mean, have my computer with me the whole time. I'll have my phone and I'll be quilting the whole time. Just won't be quilting, machine quilting. What else is going on? Yesterday, I got the first step of a Primitive Gatherings quilt along. And it's going to be like an 89 by 90 something quilt. It's a big quilt, but we're making pumpkins. This is not Primitive Gathering fabric. I'm making mine entirely from scraps. I do have the Primitive Gatherings fat quarter tower for this. However, I bought it for something else. So I did get the quilt along for free since I bought the tower, which is one way to get it, or you buy it in installments. But I'm going to sew along because it's fun. Let's see. The quilt behind me is Bowl of Cherries from Primitive Gathering. Bowl of Cherries is my cutie pattern. So I took out of a Garden Gathering fat quarter tower, I took out 16 fat eighths, 16 fat quarters, cut them in half for my fat eighths, and I made Bowl of Cherries. And I very much felt like custom quilting this one. So let me pull up some photos. I didn't do this ahead of time, sorry. Downloads, are we all here? Okay. For starters, hold on. Cancel. There we go. For starters, this is the fabric I'm talking about. So it's Garden Gatherings. The first quilt I made out of it, I pulled out the pink, the yellow, the purple, and the red and made a quilt out of that. And the second quilt I pulled out more the blue, the green, and the golds with some yellow. So that's the quilt that's behind me. Let me pull up some more photos. Here we go. Is there more? Okay, let's start here. And let me come share it with you. So here's the entire quilt that's hanging in my living room on a stand, so it gets some weird light on it. I decided I wanted to quilt custom quilting, and in this photo you can see curves, you can see feathers. Yeah, I kind of went for it. I did all the custom quilting on it. So here, each block I quilted curves along that center brown strip, and I quilted that with a ruler. So there's ruler quilting instruction in the YouTube video. I ribbon candied inside the curve. I put big feathers on the outside of the curve, and ribbon candy in the sachet, in the inner border, and big feathers in the outer border. Now, feathers in borders can be tricky because the math doesn't always work out. This quilt is like 61 by 70 or something like that. So I'll show you in the video how I matched the feathers to the blocks, and I used the blocks to measure where the feathers are going to go. So there's 6 blocks on one side, and I went through from the middle of the first block to the middle of the second block and put a half feathered wreath. Middle of the second to the middle of the third, middle of the third, middle of the fourth, middle of the fourth, middle of the fifth, middle of the fifth, middle of the sixth. And that left half a block and half a block and a corner, and half a block and a corner. So it's not a continuous. It's half feathered wreaths and then 3/4 of a feathered wreaths in the corners. So I got to place it, but I didn't have to worry about the math not working because I just divided it into chunks. That also made it easier to position. So I could throw the entire quilt on the table and just work with this much at a time. And I think that would also work if you're doing this on a long arm, because sometimes doing your borders down the side, you're going to want to take the quilt off, turn it sideways, put it back up. Here, you could just do a block's worth of a border, a block's worth of a border, a block's worth of a border. Check out that YouTube video. I have ruler quilting, ribbon candy quilting, feather quilting, and border tricks. It's a long video. Sorry about that. But it's custom quilting. And I asked my followers before if they wanted more simple, easy to quilt videos, or to show you what it really takes to custom quilt a quilt. And I got we'd like some custom quilting too. So this is one of the more in-depth quilts. I am quilting next month's quilt already, and hopefully I'll have that video done before I leave to post in August, and that is a simpler one. So I do try to vary it. Let's see, sandal, yummy fabric. Oh, it is. It's so yummy. It's so yummy. Next month's cutie quilt is made from Pat Sloan's Paradise Park. It is not made from Primitive Gatherings fabric, just because Paradise Park is red, white, and blue. And I was piecing that over the 4th of July holiday weekend. I spent the 4th of July with my daughter and her family, and, baby. Cutest thing. Before we drove up, because they're about 2 hours north of us, fortunately, super easy drive, like no traffic. My son is 2 hours east of me, not. It's like the gateway to New England. It's all the traffic, none of the roads. But so my kids are each 2 hours away, but one I could actually get there in 2 hours, and one could be 6. But we stopped at the pharmacy. My husband ran in to pick up a prescription for me before we went north. And he came out with an American flag. It was so cute. We were there on the 4th of July, and he said they had little displays of flags, but he didn't want 8 of them. They had 8 packs of them. So he went to the dollar store next door. And because he thought that our 19-day-old grandson really needed an American flag for his first 4th of July. So we do have a picture of Grandpa and the American flag and a sleeping baby, because he didn't wake up pretty much the whole time we were there. He had a hard day. So he was eating or sleeping. That some days, 19-day-old babies do that. But it was just so cute, my husband being such a grandpa. So yeah. So I was making the red, white, and blue quilt on the 5th of July, and I'm quilting it, and I'll be able to edit that video and get that up for the August video, and I'll be able to do that from when I'm away. Janet, throw any kind of quilting. You can watch me quilt all day long. Okay, I try not to bore you. So I do try to cut the video and go whoosh and make a little blend so that you can just go from the beginning to the end, or I try to speed up the video so it's not so long and boring. But there was a lot of different types of quilting in here, so there's a lot of content. Joan, very sweet grandpa. It's really adorable. He was always really fun. My husband was always really fun with our babies. He would come home from work, put down his briefcase, and then get on the floor and play with the babies. I just have vivid memories from nearly 40 years ago of him doing that. And it's fun watching him do that again with the grandkids. It's also, I realize just how blessed I am that I have a partner in life who is just pretty awesome, and he takes care of me, and we don't. I try to take care of him, but I have some physical limitations. Like right now, I can't cook at all because on the other side of that door is a blast furnace. So if I leave, it's really hot. So, we're just partners. So we know we are each other's people, and we can make that happen. Like he texted that he had an evening plan for Thursday that got moved to Wednesday. He just wanted to make sure it was okay with me. I'm like, I'm going to sit home and quilt in my air-conditioned sewing room either night. Go do your thing. But, he knows it makes it work. And congratulations. Yes, a very, very sweet little baby. And I'm going to be heading up again this week to see him before I leave, because he will be twice as old by the time I get home. He's 3.5 weeks old. And he's just so much different. It is nice to see that his parents are able to shower and feed themselves occasionally. And I went in to their house on the 4th of July, and I didn't see piles and piles of laundry everywhere waiting to be folded. And I don't care if they have laundry out. I'm not a judgmental type person, but they're able to do other things than sit and hold the baby and be absolutely crazed brand new parents. So it's just great to see them really settling in. Because the fun thing with watching them, my daughter and her family, we don't want anyone at the hospital, and we don't want anyone at the house for the first week or two. We're just going to be the 3 of us, and we're going to do our own thing. They were home 24 hours before I got it. We need more grown-ups here. So it was just really fun watching them, and they know we laugh. So kind of fun. Okay. So that's the baby. Let me see. I'm not sure I've pulled up this photo. I think I forgot to send one. I made a little romper for this little fella, but it's a 0 to 3 month, which means he might fit into it later in August, although he's gaining weight like a champ. Little people sewing is a little complex because of all the little pieces and the schnappies and all of those things. So I'm sending the photo to my computer because I forgot to do that before. And I will bring it in and show it to you. Just a cute little romper. And I bought this as short pants, no sleeves, but I also like it. I just love the look of the little romper. I think I may eventually have to get comfortable sewing knits and doing snaps, for the grandbaby thing. It'd be nice if I actually hit send to get it over. Yes, should I be able to do this digitally? Yes. Can I? No. Here we go. Come on. Download. Okay, I think we got it. I'm on my way. So I'm going to show you it's just a really cute little Etsy pattern. I'll put it in my my newsletter, not tomorrow because that one's already scheduled to go out, but I'll put it in my newsletter next week with links if anyone's looking at baby sewing. So here it is. Because, gamers, I started listing what fabric I could make this in. I sent the pattern. They agreed that it was nice. I gave them a list of what type of fabrics I had that were cute. Just off the top of my head, I probably gave them 20 options without going through my house and inventorying the fabric that I have in various rooms of the house. And the choice was Tetris. So there it is, with these little teeny little facings that are so small. I had to get out my my dressmaking ironing board with the little arm in it just to be able to press all of this stuff, but it was cute. I used buttons that I had on hand, so there's big black buttons on it, but I wish I'd had bright colored ones. But, I worked with what was in what I had on hand. So, Joan, you haven't tried knits yet, and your granddaughter's 9.5 months. I did sew knits for my daughter, but it was 35 years ago, and they're still kind of. So I did get my serger. I'm sorry, I got my embroidery machine fixed. I have to get my serger down and remember how to thread it. But I think for this little one, it's gonna and any other grandchildren to come, it'll be worth getting, rolls of snap tape and the knits and doing all the cute things because grandma should be able to do that. So cute, right? I have really adorable fabric. Like I have otters. Um, I have cars. I have Citroens, the little French low limousine cars. I have tons and tons and tons of like 1 yard novelty stuff. So there were tons of choices. Tetris was it. If you like that Tetris fabric, it is on my website. If you want to order it by Thursday because after that, I'm not shipping anything for a month. Let's see. Joan, very cute. Thank you. Just the cutest romper and excited about the YouTube quilting video. The video is out on YouTube. It went out this morning. So it's there and there'll be an easy one out for next month. Patty, thank you. Yeah, Joan, I will share my adventures in snap tape because I have different snap putter honors and I've never been good with those. So I think I'm just gonna buy like a couple rolls of snap tape and do those for baby clothes, and we'll go through this journey together. So yeah, that was the romper. I am. I did forget to mention that my heart is just devastated watching what's going on in Texas. I remember putting my kids in church camp when they were little, and I can't even fathom. So if you are in Texas, near Texas, if this affects you, my heart, my prayers are with you, and just the devastating weather. I feel very first world problems in Princessy about being in this hot, disgusting house. Mine trips a little bit into the medical situation because I'm in heart failure, and this is actually a little dangerous. We're in heat warnings today. Check on your elderly relatives. And I'm like, You can check on me, but bring donuts and an air conditioner. So again, if you're near there, be safe, stay safe, and if you hear of any quilt charities going that way, let me know. I can put that out. It's just, just feel so helpless and just so sad for the tragedies that happen in the world. But again, that's why we quilt, and we quilt cute little baby rompers, and we quilt little pumpkins. And this is our way to take care of ourselves. Um, I I've been spending a month with the Game of Thrones book series, and it's 202 hours of audio. I finished it yesterday. Then I texted my husband, told him I no longer knew how to live because there was no more books going on. I have very expensive earbuds. They're my hearing aids. And I just stream it while I'm sewing or piddling around or cooking or whatever. But when I was finishing book 5 of Game of Thrones, the news came out that there was an interview with George R.R. Martin that he expects to release book 6 next year. So maybe I should read slower. But anyway, that was a joy. And then I'm in the middle of another good book. So I'm still, even though that particular series is over, I have lists and lists of series to get into, old series that I've read and need to catch up on the newer ones. Does anybody else have like books and lists of books? I definitely have a strong to be read. So I'm still doing a lot of that, and that'll also be a lot of driving because I'm putting several thousand miles on my car in the next month. Let's see. Hi, Madeline. So good to see you. Janet, you wish you were closer? No, it's hot here. You wouldn't get any cooler by coming north, What kind of donuts? Okay. So I like cake donuts, not so much the raised, but if you're going to fill a donut, I will eat whatever you put in it. If you put cream in it, Boston cream specifically, or like the whipped creams, the chocolate cream filled, as long as I have icing, I'm good with that. And a jelly. There's nothing better than a jelly donut. So I'm not super picky on donuts, just don't put nuts on them. I'll eat most anything, but chocolate icing or jelly filled, or yeah. And I'm not big on donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. I like them from bakeries because I am bougie like that. Patty. So write about quilting? Yeah. Quilting is how we take care of ourselves. It's how we show that we're caring for other people, but the act of quilting is caring for ourselves. Like, I was talking to the receptionist at my chiropractor's office, and I wanted to see a picture of her daughter's horse because, I'm going to be looking for horse fabric that looks like the chiropractor's secretary's horse. So, we do that. And if you find out someone's into tennis, you're looking for tennis fabric. My neighbor, I'm seeing their little kids out playing baseball. So I'm like, ooh, I'll look for some baseball fabric, things like that. So we do that as we're caring about other people, showing we're thinking of them. But the actual act of quilting itself, that's for us. That's being selfish. And my favorite thing is sitting with an audiobook in my ears and quilting. Sorry. Let's see. Boston cream is your favorite? Yeah. I went to Boston for my birthday last year. So like in 2024, 2023, 2023, because I couldn't walk in 2024. In 2023, and I wanted to go have a Boston cream donut. I had Boston cream birthday cake. It wasn't a donut. I had a Boston cream cake in Boston for my birthday. That was really important to me because I've loved Boston cream my whole life. It's just amazing. So, I'm making samples for new in-person classes because I'm already booked to teach throughout the Mid-Atlantic, so in Pittsburgh and New Hampshire and Connecticut, places like that, places I can get to by car, and that will be expanding. So there's some new in-person home machine classes. I made another sample for it last night, sending out some handouts today to an event. So if you look at the bottom of my newsletter every week, it will tell you what I have scheduled in case I'm coming to a place near you. if you live in Australia, I'm never coming to a place near you again. That's just too long to fly. Um, when Australia moves off the coast of the US, I'll possibly go there again. But I think I've been there 4 times, and I think that was plenty. My body would not handle the trip anymore. But I have other teaching things coming up. No teaching for the next month, no machine quilting for the next month, but I have a huge IKEA bag filled with bagged up quilt kits ready for me to sew. And that will give me plenty of machine quilting to do once I get home. I'm home for about 4 weeks before I start traveling again. So that's, I think, what's new. I will not be here next Tuesday. I will not be in New York. I will be in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh, and I will not be here Tuesday because my mom has a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, but I will be here on Wednesday at 2:30 in the afternoon, just me and my sister's dog Oreo at 2:30 in the afternoon from her kitchen. I have new stuff. I have new videos and new pictures and all that stuff to show you. I just will have my sister's refrigerator behind me because that's usually where I sit when I am at my sister's house, unless I end up in her husband's office. But anyway, I will not be here next week on Tuesday. I will be here next week on Wednesday, 2:30 in New York time or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania time. Until then, stay cool or warm if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. Take care of yourselves by quilting or whatever that looks like. Take care of each other because the world can be a hard place. And I'm trying to remember that as I'm dealing with air conditioner people, that they might be having a hard time, but I'm losing. I'm not being as nice about taking care of them as I'd like to, but so it's a good reminder to myself. What time Wednesday? 2:30 Wednesday. I just have a doctor's appointment with mom. Thank you. Safe travels. I'll wave at you as I'm going by. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll see you next week, Wednesday at 2:30 New York time. Until then, happy quilting.